Good morning from the garden. And if you planted some garlic cloves in the fall, right now would be the best time to think and see if your garlic is ready for harvest. Garlic is usually ready for harvest near the time when the summer solstice, when the days are the longest. And well, yeah, can you believe it? We're already in the middle of summer solstice right now, almost the summer solstice. And then the days are just going to get shorter from there. So, sometime in June, late June or July, your garlic is going to be ready for harvest. And how do you tell when it's ready to be harvested? Now, you put in it's a long time between planting and harvesting for garlic. Mine was planted in the fall, probably sometime in late October up to early December. And so that's a long time. You've dedicated spots in your garden and you've tended to it, mulched it, fertilized it, and all those things. And then you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to make the mistake of harvesting too early and also harvesting too late. Now, let me show you my garlic patch. Well, this is not my only garlic patch. This is one of them. Now, as you can see, a lot of the garlic is already starting to fall over. Now, garlic, just like onions, they're from the same family, the alliums. They usually tell you when they're done. They're done. I'm done growing and it's time to harvest me. They do this by when they start to fall over. That's the leaves starts dying. So they're not taking in more energy into growing the bulbs. They're already starting to wrap things up and get ready to be harvested. There are two kinds of garlic. One is soft neck variety and the other one is hard neck. Now I am growing the soft neck variety. How do you know that this is a soft neck? They do not produce scapes. Now, I have not really grown hard neck garlics, but they say that once the scapes, which is like a flower stalk, once those come out, they're usually ready for harvest around 2 to 3 weeks after. Now, for soft neck garlic, which I have here, I usually wait until most of the plants look like it's dying, and then they start to fall over, which also happens to onions. They start to fall over, and then they're just telling me that they're ready for harvest. Now, why is it that you don't want to wait for the garlic to be completely dead before you pull it out? Once they're dead, they just get too brittle. And if you pull a brittle garlic off the ground, it's just gonna break off the stem, and then you're gonna be left with cloves under the ground, which is harder to dig out. You also do not want to harvest the garlic too early because by then the plant is still putting on energy into growing the bulb, and so you're not getting your money's worth from them. And also they don't store as well when the cloves. So each of the leaves forms the skin on the garlic bulb. If you harvest them too early, then the skin would not form like completely yet. So your garlic doesn't store as long. Okay, so we're gonna harvest a few of these, and then I am going to show you what to do with the garlic after. Okay, so I usually like to use this. This is a weed digger. Garlic, usually they are, if you planted them deep and if you've been mulching over them, the bulb tends to be deep in the ground. Okay, this is how I harvest my garlic. So dig around the base of the plant until you see at least the tops of the bulb. There we go. This one's not too big, but it's okay. And then push hard because garlic has really, really sturdy roots. And then lift up from the bottom. Hey, there we go. Here's one of my garlic. Do the same thing with the other ones. This is just to make sure you don't nick the bulb itself when you're digging. All right. I got garlic. And one more. Wow. Ah, it's a biggie. Oh, it's growing on side clove right here. So this is what happens if for some garlic, this is why they caution you not to wait too long, because they kind of split. See this one, that area split, and it forms into another bulb right here. So this will not store as long because the wrapper, this papery wrapper, is not intact anymore. So yep, I guess I waited too long. And then one more. And another small one. That's fine. Okay, now let's move on to a different patch where I can show you that the garlic is still not ready. Okay, we're on the other patch, and here I'm gonna show you my garlic that is not ready to be picked. So the other patch that we picked from was just right there. It's exposed to the sun earlier in the day, and this one usually stays in the shade a little bit longer in the mornings. So I guess this is why these are not ready to be picked yet. Now, as with the difference to when you compare it, this plant which we harvested is already looking dead. It's already looking brown and wilted, and the stem is already soft and it was falling over, and most of the leaves are already turning yellow. Now, each of these dead leaves represent a wrapper around the bulb, which also contributes to how garlic is able to be stored, or how long you're going to be able to store your garlic. Now, with this plant, as you can see, all the leaves on the plant are still green. The stem is still very sturdy and very green. Now, this is how I know it's not ready. The plant is still alive. It's still trying to take on more energy and put it into the bulb, into growing the bulb that's underneath. So this, I'm just gonna observe. It's starting to yellow. So it's probably gonna be ready in about 2 to 3 weeks. And that's how you can tell it's ready or not. Now, after you've harvested your garlic, to be able to store and use it, you have to cure it, what they call cure. Now, curing garlic just involves putting them in a shady spot, a warm, shady spot with lots of ventilation. So I've been using this shelving. This is also my seed starting shelf. As you can see, I still have some LED lights in here. But this is what you do. You keep the roots and the stem on the garlic while it is curing, because even though you've already pulled it from the ground, the plant still has energy which the bulb will pull from and will help it cure much better. Now, these garlic have been ready earlier, so I don't harvest my garlic in one go. I wait until they're ready, when they tell me they're ready, and then I harvest them as they're ready. I put them on here, and I leave the garlic. This was harvested about a week ago. So as you can see, the difference between this freshly harvested one and the one I harvested from last week. They get dry, the leaves get brittle, and then it's probably time for me to trim up the roots from these ones and clean out the dirt that's already dried. You could probably just touch it. Now, as much as you can, do not peel off the papery skin, because that's gonna help the garlic to keep longer. Now, so this is what you do not want to do. You do not want to cut off the stems off the garlic immediately after harvesting them, because it kind of, so just like what I said, the stems right here and the leaves still have energy, which the bulb can draw from. I did this because I wanted to use the greens from the garlic for pesto. And these I am not going to store. I am just going to use fresh. Okay, so what I do is just put the garlic through the slots on the shelf, and they are gonna hang in here until they are completely dry. And then I will be storing them downstairs in our storage room. And that's where they're gonna stay until I'm gonna be needing them. All right. All right. Now, I think we've covered everything that you need about harvesting garlic, harvesting and storing garlic. Now, I probably would make some garlic pesto, just like what I said. I'm gonna make some garlic pesto with the garlic greens that I've harvested the previous day. And then if you have any other questions about growing and harvesting garlic, let me know. Let me know down in the comments. Like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.